Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and technically doing a Harpie Lady deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck is based around one of the most nostalgic monsters in the entire game, Harpie Lady. And this deck is actually my wife Savannah's favorite deck of all time. So quick shout out to her and thank you so much for always being an inspiration. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description down below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name scripted in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Harpie Channeler, the best card in the entire deck. This card has one of the best effects on any monster I've ever seen, that you discard a Harpie card to be able to special summon any Harpie monster you want from your deck in face-up defense position except another copy of this card, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. And while you control a dragon-type monster, this card's level becomes 7, and this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, which the majority of your Harpie monsters actually share that effect, which is super cool about this card. It makes it really easy to be able to bank rank 7s in this deck while also getting you some extremely powerful cards from the deck. We then play 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer, which is the card you're usually summoning off the effect of Channeler. This card has the effect that this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the card Harpie Lady Sisters in its text. And if you controlled a level 5 or higher Harpie monster when you activate this effect, you can add an additional target or an additional spell or trap from your deck to your hand off this card's effect, which is super good to be able to get 2 searches off this card's summon. We then play 2 copies of Harpie Harpist. Harpie Harpist is a really good searcher for the deck because during the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add a level 4 winged beast type monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand, which is usually going to be a copy of Channeler that you're searching off this card. We then play 2 copies of Harpie Oracle. Harpie Oracle is a really good card in this deck because it has an awesome effect that if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand that specifically lists the card Harpie Lady Sisters in its text during the end phase this turn, which can get you a bunch of different cards in this deck, which is why this card is a definite 2 of in this build. We're then playing 2 copies of Harpie Queen. Harpie Queen is a really awesome card in the deck that has the ability to discard this card to the graveyard to be able to add from your deck to your hand Harpie's Hunting Ground. This card is a definite 2 of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of the original Harpie Lady. The reason I'm playing this card as a 3 of in this particular build over Harpie Lady 1 or even Cyber Harpie Lady is because you can bring it out with cards like Unexpected Die, and you have a bunch of ways to actually special summon this card to your side of the field with cards like Elegant Egotist, and it's just a really good 3 of in this build. Plus, it's super nostalgic to be able to play Harpie Lady. We then play 3 copies of Harpie's Pet Fearsome Fire Blast. This card is so good in the deck and is exactly what the deck needed when this card was released, and it's just a really good 3 of that monsters cannot target level 6 or lower Harpie monsters for attacks, and you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn, that if you control a level 6 or lower wind monster, pretty much any Harpie monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, which is really good to be able to combo with your copy of Channeler because it will make Channeler also a level 7, so you can make a rank 7 play. This card also has the ability, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send a Wind Wing Beast monster from your deck to the graveyard, which can be your copy of Harpist to then get a search during the end phase. We then play a single copy of the Wind Barrier Statue. This card is so powerful in the deck because you can make a copy of Arsenal Falcon and then use your copy of Arsenal Falcon to be able to special summon it from the deck, because you can use Channeler and your copy of Harpie's Pet Dragon to be able to make Arsenal Falcon, which is just absolutely insane how easy it is to be able to summon out the Wind Barrier Statue in this deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, which is just so cool to be able to play it in its own deck. This card destroys all spells and traps that your opponent controls. Super simple effect, extremely powerful card. We then play a single copy of Harpie's Feather Rest. This card is a definite 1 of in the deck and is really, really good to open up in your hand because it lets you target 3 Harpie monsters and or Harpie Lady's sister in your graveyard and shuffle those cards into the deck and then draw a card. And if you controlled a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, when you activated this card, you get to draw 2 cards instead. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolved, you cannot special summon monsters except wind monsters, which is not that big of a deal because you're always just going to be summoning wind monsters in this deck anyways. We then play a single copy of Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is so good in this deck to be able to make Utopia double, detach a material from Utopia double, search this card from the deck, and then instantly summon out a copy of Utopia from the extra deck, coming out at 5,000 attack points. You can then attack into an opponent's monster that has less than 2,000 attack points, and then detach a material, drop Double or Nothing, and then it'll go back in for double attack points, going to 10,000 attack points. If you did attack into an opponent's monster that had 2,000 or less attack points, and your opponent does have 8,000 life points, it will be an OTK, which is really insane about this card. The only downside to Utopia double is it makes it so that you cannot attack directly, but it's still an absolutely insane card. We then play 2 copies of Unexpected Die. Unexpected Die is really cool because if you control no monsters, you can special summon a level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck, which is always going to be a copy of Harpie Lady that you're summoning off this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of Elegant Egotist. Elegant Egotist is so powerful in this deck. It has the ability that there can only be, or when there is 1 or more Harpie cards on your side of the field that's a Harpie Lady, you can special summon a Harpie Lady or a Harpie Lady Sisters from your hand or deck, which is a super powerful effect to instantly get you a copy of Harpie Lady onto the field. It's a definite 3-of in the deck and just a really powerful 3-of in this build. We then play 2 copies of Harpie's Hunting Ground. Harpie's Hunting Ground is really good because it has the ability when a Harpie Lady or a Harpie Lady Sister is normal summoned or special summoned to your field, you can destroy a spell or trap on the field, which is a mandatory effect to be able to pop a spell or trap. So if this is the only spell or trap on the field, it has to destroy itself. It also has the ability to increase the attacking events of all face-up winged beast type monsters that are on the field by 200 attack points, which is really good to be able to just boost your Harpies up to do extra damage. We then play 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. Hysteric Sign is really good because when this card is activated, you get to add an Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and then during the end phase of the turn this card was sent from the field or your hand to the graveyard, you can add 3 Harpie cards with different names from your deck to your hand, but you can only use either or of this card's effect per turn. You can either search the Egotist or during the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard and was sent there this turn, you can actually add 3 Harpie cards from deck to hand. You cannot get both effects, which is the only downside of this card, but getting a +2 off this card's effect is just so good, and it's a definite 3-of in this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Hysteric Party. Hysteric Party is a definite 2-of in the build and has a really good effect that basically it's a soul charge that you activate this card by discarding 1 card to special summon as many copies of Harpie Lady as possible from your graveyard, which basically is any of your Harpie monsters except your copy of Fearsome Fire Blast because it doesn't count as a Harpie Lady while in the graveyard. And this card has the ability also that when this face-up card leaves the field, you destroy those monsters, but being able to flip this card face up and basically get a massive monster reborn is just so good. But I feel like 2 copies is totally fine. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This card is a great hand trap and just an overall fantastic card in this deck to basically be able to lock down an opponent's monster effect, which is just really good. This card is a definite 3-of in the build and just a really good card. We then play 3 copies of one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, and that's going to be 3 copies of Harpie's Feather Storm. This card is so good because if you control a Wing Beast type monster, it has the ability that until the end of this turn, negate any monster effect that your opponent activates. And if you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand. That is a crazy powerful effect that essentially it's a skill drain for the entire turn from everywhere. Your opponent cannot activate any monster effects, which is so powerful to be able to just negate those cards. And if this card is in its spell and trap card zone, is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add a Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. That is a really powerful effect to give you another copy of Feather Duster, and it's just really good. So that's it for the traps, guys, and the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Cyber/Harpie Lady. This card is a crazy powerful monster, and you don't actually play any tuners in the deck, but this card is super simple to summon. That for this card Synchro Summon, you can treat one Harpie monster as the tuner, which is really neat and a super unique way to Synchro Summon. But this card also has the ability, this card's name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or in the graveyard, and when a spell or trap card or effect is activated, except during the damage step, quick effect, you can target a monster your opponent controls or a Harpie monster that you control and return it back to the hand, which is a great effect to give you a bounce of any opponent's card. We then play a single copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This card can actually attack your opponent directly, which is super good, and during the end phase you have to detach a material from this card. But it's a really cool card because this card can only be applied while, or the effects of this card can only be applied while it has XZ material, and it can attack the opponent directly, and it also has the ability that it protects your other Harpie monsters because your opponent cannot target any Harpie monster that you control with card effects or attacks, which is just really cool. We can play a single copy of Ice Beast Zerofine. Zerofine is really good because it basically cold waves the entire field of all the face-up cards, and then it gains 300 attack for each face-up card currently on the field, which is really good, and these effects are applied until your next standby phase, which is a really good effect. We then play a single copy of Chidori. Chidori is really good because it bounces cards, and it's just a fantastic XZ to summon in this deck. 1 copy of Utopia Double. This card is just really powerful because you just detach a material from this card. Once you detach a material, you search double or nothing from the deck, and then summon out a copy of Utopia on top of it, which is a great effect to instantly get a copy of Utopia on the field. Utopia will come out at 5,000 attack points. You can then attack an opponent's monster, detach a material to negate the attack, drop double or nothing, and attack again with Utopia to go in for 10,000 attack points, which is super good. The only downside is it can't attack directly. We then play a single copy of Arsenal Falcon. Arsenal Falcon is a new addition to the deck and has a really simple but awesome effect that once per turn, you can detach a material from this card to special summon a level 4 Wing Beast monster from your deck. You're always summoning out the Wind Barrier statue with this card to instantly get you the Wind Barrier statue on the field. This card is a definite one of the deck, and it's super easy to make with Channeler and Fearsome Fire Blast. We then play a single copy of Draco Sack. Draco Sack's really good because it generates tokens by detaching a material. It has the ability to special summon out 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens to your side of the field, which can help you link climb into some really powerful cards. We then play a single copy of AA Zeus. AA Zeus is really good because it's a board wipe and it's really easy to put on your side of the field with all the XZs that we're playing. We then play a single copy of Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. This card is super easy to put on the field with a copy of IP Masquerena and a copy of Harpie Conductor. But this card is super good to be able to put on the field because while this Link Summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with effects, and also their monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one, which is a really awesome effect. And if this card battles a special summon monster, quick effect, you could make this card gain attack equal to that opponent's monster's attack during damage calculation only if it battles a special summon monster, which is such a powerful effect to be able to use with this card. We then play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff, 1 copy of Harpie Conductor because it is a Harpie name, 1 copy of Pentastag so your copy of Utopia Double can actually do piercing damage, and then finally a single copy of IP Masquerena because IP Masquerena plus a Harpie Conductor can actually make a copy of Avermax extremely easily in this deck, and it also makes Avermax not be able to destroy by your opponent's card effects, which is really good, or you can make Unicorn during the opponent's turn. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Harpies before, it's a really insane deck, especially being able to make the Wind Barrier statue off of Arsenal Falcon. It's just a really cool thing about this deck, and it's just a really fun deck overall that has so many powerhouse cards. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.